Hi, my name is Erin, and this is my shop, Cakes by Erin. We're in Haverhill, Massachusetts. You can check us out online, cakesbyerin.com, and you can check us out on Facebook as well. What I'm going to show you today are some of the basic techniques for doing a cake with fondant. Rolling, coloring, that type of stuff. What you want to start with is basic white fondant. Now you can buy it colored. I like to start with white because I can make it any color I want with the gels and the pastes that I use. You can order online in bigger quantities, or you can actually go to any of the craft stores, the main ones. They sell all types. They sell big bricks of white. They sell smaller bits of colored stuff, so you can make smaller pieces. Today we're working with white. And what you want to do when you have your fondant, you have to make sure that you start with the right size that you need. If you're covering a cake, you want to make sure you have the right amount, the right quantity to cover. It's always good to have more than less, and you're going to be breaking off some blocks of it. It's pretty sticky, it's pretty tough, it's a lot of handwork. Gonna need your color. We're using electric pink, because I like pink. And you need gloves, unless you want your hands to be pink for about a week. So you might want to soften your fondant up just a little bit, because it can be tough, especially if it's been cold. It's really hard to manipulate. Once you have it a little bit soft, take whatever coloring you want. Put it on there, and you're going to start blending and folding it in. The good thing about buying white is you can take some pinks, some purples, you can make magenta. You're not limited to the color that you buy. You can actually make any type of color that you need for your cake. So if you want to work with different tones of greens, different pinks, you have the ability with white fondant. And it takes a little bit. It's tough to use. You'll have definitely have strong hands and arms by the time you've done a few cakes. And it's just a lot of blending and folding. And if it's not pink enough, you can always add more. So it's always better to start with a little less color and add it as you go, because the last thing you want to do is waste your fondant by blending too much in and then not having the right color or have it being too dark. So this isn't bright enough for me. I want to add a little more. The other thing you have to be careful of with your fondant is that you don't add too much color. If you add too much, it's going to get very sticky, very tacky, and then it's going to be actually too soft to work with. Fondant is very temperature sensitive. It's very moisture sensitive, so when you add too much to it, it makes it kind of unworkable. So here we have a little bit of pink. It's perfect to use on any cake. Take your gloves off. No color on your hands. It's one of the best parts. And then what you need to do is roll out your fondant. When you roll out fondant, any area like this, it's just going to stick to it. It's going to stick to your hands. It's going to stick to your surface. You want to use, if you have a marble countertop, those work great. If you don't, like a silicone mat, silpat mat, something like that. And cornstarch. Cornstarch is going to stop it. It'll still stick to this, not as much as a regular surface. Take any cornstarch that you can. Cover your surface area totally so that it doesn't stick. And a nice rolling pin. You can spread it out with your hands a little bit. And then basically, once it gets going, if the rolling pin's too sticky, you can just put a little bit of cornstarch on that. And then it's just a lot more power with your hands and rolling. Once you roll your fondant out to the size and the area that you need to cover your cake, you also have to make sure that you don't roll it out too thin. If you roll it out too thin, it's going to rip and it's going to tear when you lay it over your cake. So this should fit just fine. And basically, take your pre-frosted cake, You're going to lay it over, and you want to start smoothing with your hands the sides of it and the top. Slowly bringing your hands in to bring the sides in. Watching out for any tears, any bumps, any air bubbles. Now that's just with your hands. This to me is a little lumpy. So you want to use one of these tools. Again, any craft store, anything like that. We call these smoothie guys here because they smooth out our cakes. But it's any type of fondant or cake smoother. And you can use it to really get the sides smooth. Much more than your hands. You got to watch your handprints on there because it is still very soft as you're using it, so you can very easily put any indents or handprints onto your cake when working with it. Just check all around it to make sure all of your edges are nice and smooth. There's no tears. You haven't missed any spot. Now you got to get rid of the extra fondant that you have. Take any X-Acto blade. You can use a knife too. I like my little blades. And you're just trimming right around the bottom edge of your cake, as close as you can get to your cake. Good thing about fondant is the extra can just be balled up. Put it into a Ziploc bag so that it doesn't dry out. Fondant's very air sensitive. If it's dry, it's going to dry quicker. If it's humid, it's going to be too soft and sticky to work with. So you always got to make sure that you're paying attention to that stuff when working with fondant. And then you get a little bit of a lip down here. Just take any smoothing tool. Don't worry too much about what it looks like. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's why we trim out cakes on the bottom. Just give it once around. There you go. So you got a good little cake to start working with and decorating with.